Hey guys, so I'm back with another video. I'm continuing my Lost Art of Alter Ego series with a whole new breakdown. So today we're going to start off with none other than the Katy Perry. As a kid, Katy Perry was my number one artist. So yes, before it was Queen Bee, it was all about Miss Hot and Cold Katy Perry. 10-year-old me saw her as a pop icon, and she is. Katy made memorable fun time music, and she really was once upon a time the number one pop star out. Kathryn Hudson grew up as a middle child in Southern California. She often speaks about how her sheltered, strict upbringing, as her parents were both Christian ministers. I'm pretty sure you can already guess how that dynamic was. As we all know, overly religious parents are more often strict and very protective over their children, even when it can be overbearing, and unfortunately that's how it was for Katy. She admits her parents kept her away from a lot of the outside world. She couldn't really watch cable television that was considered grotesque like MTV. She didn't really know much about the pop culture, especially pop icons like Madonna, and eventually she began to try and rebel and find out for herself what was really there in the outside world. Katy began to want to grow out of that, but it took her some time. Since Katy grew up in the church, she was destined to sing with her God-given talent. Katy began singing in her parents' ministry by the age of 9 to the point music began to become her passion. Instead of finishing high school, she dropped out her freshman year and got her GED. Following her passion, she started traveling, moving to Nashville as a gospel singer under the name Katy Hudson. She got signed to Red Hill Records, but that didn't last long as the record company was going bankrupt and soon failed. Her album was recorded and released with little to no promotion and failed terribly, only selling like 200 copies. Katy recalls passing out How to Find God pamphlets at a Marilyn Manson concert, and she peeked to see what the hype was about and recalls liking the different experience that Marilyn brought. That was a stepping stone that drove her interest to want to try different things. When Katy was 17, she took the courage to move to LA to branch out and further excel in her career. She was picked up and dropped from 2 record labels before she finally signed to Capitol Records, where Katy Perry was born. As Katy was trying to become a bona fide star, she had to drop her Christian cover. Her rebrand had to give her a different aura and mystique regardless of what it led to. But Katy knew she couldn't be Kathryn Hudson anymore. She released an EP called You're So Gay. It wasn't a massive hit, but it did draw some attention to Katy. Madonna herself even mentioned having a liking to the EP in a radio interview. Next was her first ever hit pop single. I Kiss a Girl honestly was actually one of my favorite songs as a kid. No, I didn't kiss a girl, but the song was super catchy and 8-year-old me loved it. The song was honestly a super mega success. The song went number 1 and sold over 4 million copies and topped the Hot 100 for 7 weeks straight. But as you can guess, the song did not come without backlash. This is the year 2008, so songs like this weren't really the norm. Katy got the heat from all around the corners. The conservatives, the churches, the airwaves, and even the LGBT community. The conservatives obviously were saying that Katy was trying to influence teen girls to experiment with sexuality. And y'all know this is YouTube, so I don't know if I could say the full word or not, but y'all know what I mean. The song was playful and honestly cute, but it did OD to sexual curiosity. And y'all know the churches were saying,
yes,
we don't want no devils in the house, God.
yes,
We
Lord.
want the
so they
love.
definitely were not messing with it, especially the 2 ministers, aka Katy Perry's parents. The UK Daily Record reported that Katy's mother, Mary Hudson, said, "I hate the song. It clearly promoted homosexuality and its message is shameful and disgusting. Katy knows how I feel. She and her husband are deeply ashamed of their daughter and say that the song promotes a sin." Katy's father even revealed that he thought his 30-year ministry was over because of the controversial song. Like I stated previously, Katy grew up in a church, so her actions from the song was rubbing off on her parents and how the church may also view them. Y'all know the church can be very judgmental from time to time. The LGBT community were also having issues too. It was more so mixed, but there was still problems nonetheless. They felt as if Katy was gay for play, and that she was using the I Kissed a Girl gimmick as a gimmick for her image. For the LGBT community, this is their real lives. So they see Katy Perry in her bubblegum pop persona and they view her as someone who's using this to excel her image when this is their real reality. So they took offense. The other side of the totem pole felt like she was speaking a lot of people's thoughts and breaking the barriers to actually speak about same-sex related topics. If you have been following me, I've said this before, but all publicity ain't bad publicity. So yes, there was backlash, but there was also a surplus of people that rallied in support of this fun time song. And it helped to boost the buzz for her album release. Okay, now boom, let's get into it. The I Kiss a Girl era was definitely Katy's initiation to purge her good girl Christian image, and it worked. She adopted a cartoonish bubblegum pop style. A lot of artists adopted this method of clothing during the 2008-2012 era as it was a standout way of making yourself unique. She often changed her hair color and wore quirky clothing. Definitely fit well into this persona as the image matched who she was trying to be. She stated in an interview, "A lot of people are living in fear of something that happened in their childhood, or some form of PTSD they picked up along the way, and I created this wonderful character called Katy Perry that I very much am and can step into all the time, but I created the character out of protection." It was me going, okay, I've been upset my whole childhood, so I'm going to show the world I am something, that I'm going to do something, and that I am enough. I didn't want to be Kathryn Hudson. I hated that. It was so scary for me. So I decided to be someone else. She wanted to forget Kathryn the church girl and be Katy the outgoing pop star. Katy's peak era was amazing. Like, sis was dropping hits at the doorstep. Every album, every single from the minute she dropped One of the Boys. Following I Kiss a Girl, which was number 1, Hot and Cold reached number 3, and the album debuted at number 9 on the US Billboard 200. The next year was the golden album in my opinion, because I was in elementary school and I loved every song on this album. Teenage Dream went on to make history by spawning 5 number 1 hits from a single album, an achievement only done by Michael Jackson had accomplished with his album Thriller. Her next album, Prism, was also successful. Roar was everywhere, and I used to sing that song to make my throat hurt. But she had captivating music videos for this album that caused her to be the first artist to have multiple videos reach 1 billion views on Vivo. Next was Witness, which I have to say wasn't my favorite album. It still did fairly well because Katy is an icon, but the album was in terms purposely political, with Bon Appetit being her lowest selling single, even with the help of the Migos, which got a little backlash because I guess the Migos have controversial stances. Even the direction of the video wasn't sitting with Katy's audience. I don't know, it just seemed kind of weird. Like, this was the era where Katy cut off her hair. And you know, sometimes when celebrities cut their hair or dye it blonde, it gives off MK Ultra allegations, and what didn't help was the 4-day live stream leading up to the album. But the songs were very underwhelming and weren't memorable at all. She was being bullied from the album perception and from cutting her hair, cause it honestly did affect her brand. The short pixie cut isn't the Katy Perry the audiences knew, but this is also the era where Katy subsequently decided she no longer wanted to be Katy Perry. Around this time, Katy's mental health was being questioned, and she openly addressed that she had to focus on herself.
No, I'm really strong as Katy Perry. And sometimes I'm not as strong as Kathryn Hudson, and
Kathryn doesn't have to be strong.
You know, people talk about my hair, right? And they don't like it, or they wish that it was longer. And I so badly want to be Kathryn Hudson that I don't even want to look like Katy Perry anymore sometimes.
Okay.
And that is a little bit of why I cut my hair, is because I really want to be my authentic self,
Yes.
100%. And so it hurts, when I don't feel like I can.
Honestly, I feel for Katy. She has often spoke about her spiritual and religious beliefs and how she was strayed away from God here and there. She has also given insight on how she doesn't have strong belief in the Bible and how her slow departure in religion has affected her and her parents' relationship. She completely stripped herself of the Christian upbringing and all the Christian beliefs and the strict rules that were given to her by her parents. She has hit all the number ones, gained the millions of followers and the millions of dollars, hit all the world tours, sold the number 1 albums. She has hit her peak, and by all means, that's not a bad thing. But for some people, when they accomplish everything, what's next? You look in the mirror and you see the person you have become and how fun it was being that person, and then you realize you are no longer that person. Then it's like, damn, who am I now? Katy has reached that peak person to the point she wants to go back to herself. Kathryn is who she is. Kathryn is her definition of authenticity. Katy Perry is her ego, and we could all kinda admit her swish era was kinda weird. It didn't seem right, and you have to reinvent yourself and your sound every album, but this in particular was very off. So after, I think she generally took some time to reflect on the standpoint of who she is and where her mind is going. The downside of an ego can be loss of self if you let it completely overpower you. Yes, it's all about mindset, but Katy didn't have a regular childhood. So her reinvention of herself was possibly set in a rebellious stage, and it worked in her favor till it no longer favored her. Nicki can walk in and out of her egos because she is very animated. None of her egos are who Nicki really is. But Katy's ego got lost within herself because of how she perceived the world based off of her childhood experiences. Like I said, everyone deals with things differently, so you may think it wasn't that serious. So what if her parents were strict religious individuals? But no, it's all about the mind for real and how she handles things. As time goes on, she has gotten better, and she has a child with Orlando Bloom, has done Las Vegas residency, and has hosted American Idol. Katy Perry is still her stage name, but is no longer who she is, and I'm happy for her continued success and growth throughout the past few years. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment and let me know what you think about the Alter Ego series and Katy's experience with it. Thank you for watching. Toodles!